I don't want to waste your time, so there won't be an intro. Defending statue trophy on Villa is something that quite a few teams are currently struggling with, and the trend points to more and more teams ditching trophy and instead picking kitchen as a second site. But there is one strategy that continues to be very successful for the defenders. I'm talking about the closet hold. Now, this strategy is not a particularly new one, but it is one that really benefits from the so-called 20 seconds meta. The core idea is to play the Jaeger-Wamai combination and then stack all of the ADS and magnets around the closet area, which then allows you to play someone in there. This is how the final product usually looks like in blueprint format, but I think the best way of understanding how the setup works is by building it from the ground up, and this will also help us understand the different variations, because not every team is playing it the same way. And those differences start pretty much right at the beginning, because some teams aren't even playing Wamai in closet. Instead, they have Ella playing in there with her shotgun. The pros and cons are pretty obvious here. Ella is better at defending the actual closet, but Wamai is a bit more flexible, because he could actually challenge the windows if he wanted to. For the rest of the video, I'll only consider the Wamai variant, because it's the more popular version. The next question is which walls to reinforce. Obviously, reinforcing the wall on the far north side is a no-brainer, but there is some debate on where you want the second reinforcement. Let's consider the version with the left wall reinforced and a hole in the middle first. The main benefit of doing it that way is that it connects the defenders and allows them to play off of each other. Against attackers jumping into bathroom, for example, we now have a proper crossfire. And the same is of course also true for attackers jumping into closet. But this comes at a price. By reinforcing the right side of the wall, which we need to do in order to give the bathroom player some room to maneuver, we also take away his option of helping out against a master window push. But this is arguably where the most genius part of the strategy comes into play. It sounds a bit paradoxical, but now that we have a way of defending master and closet, we don't need to reinforce the statue wall anymore. And in combination with a castle barricade on that window, it allows the defenders to play this breach position. And this is insanely strong, because it, once again, connects the defenders. Now you can help out against a master window push. And you can help out against a bathroom push. And if you move towards the master door, you can even help out against a closet push. So you can see that it's quite difficult for the attackers to even get into the building. And if these crossfire positions weren't enough already, this setup also makes great use of deployable shields. Common positions are in closet door, bathroom, and master door, all with the same idea of improving the crossfire opportunities. Another shield you can place is here in front of the statue rotation, and this goes back to the genius of leaving that wall open, because not only does it help us out defensively, it also helps us out offensively in a sense. We can use this shield and this hole in general to put on pressure on landing and to actively deny the default plant. And now we can also see why it might make sense to reinforce the middle closet wall and have the rotation on the left side. Especially for the bathroom player, this makes it much easier to contribute against landing statue plants. Of course, at the moment his back is exposed to the bathroom window, so this is usually castled. And now you can say that, well, it's just a castle barricade, you can easily break that. And that's true, it's also true for the castle and master. But there is a key thing to realize here. On Villa, you are basically always running into time trouble, especially for the default aviator landing take. It's just very difficult to clear out the aviator side and then also this closet setup. The thing is that stacking utility in closet doesn't prevent us from also contesting aviator. So naturally, the attackers are going to lose time and utility on that side of the map, which then makes it incredibly hard to deal with the closet players, who of course have 3 ADS and 2 minutes worth of magnets stacked all over the place. And for some reason people just don't drone this. Don't ask me why though. Bottom line, playing a default landing take against this closet setup is quite difficult. And the same is true for the Astro Stairs take, because again, you want to take control of below, and at the same time, you also want to take control of closet and master, and doing both is challenging. It would be a different story if you could maybe kill the closet player from below, but only half of the closet floor is destructible, so that won't help you out too much. I think what both of these takes show is that every successful trophy statue attack involves getting control of master and closet at some point in the round. You just can't ignore it. So conceptually, this setup will always be relevant. And This is the main reason why I like this strat so much. If you play a default aviator extension, the attackers can just dodge it and play an astro stairs take. If you play some kind of vertical extension, the attackers can just dodge it by playing an aviator take. But this closet hold can never be dodged. The attackers are bound to deal with it at some point in the round. And looking at a few of these examples, Pro League teams are actually kinda bad at clearing this. Okay, so now we understand the setup and the reason why it's so strong. Let's quickly recap, and then we look at some ways of how you could maybe counter the setup. Again, the main idea is to have Wamai play in closet with every ADS and magnet stacked around him. In terms of reinforcements, we have some options. If you reinforce these two walls and open a rotation here, you allow the bathroom and closet players to have a bit of an easier time helping against landing takes, but at the same time, you kind of limit their crossfire opportunities. So what Pro League teams generally prefer is reinforcing the left and right walls and opening the middle. An area in which there is no debate is how you should set up the statue walls. You reinforce these two and open a rotation here in combination with castling this inner window. This again creates more crossfire opportunities for the breach player. The only thing that's left on this side of the map is placing a bunch of deployable shields. The most common ones are in closet door, in bathroom, and then in master breach or master door. The rest of the setup is fairly similar to the default one. 2 walls in trophy to astro with a rotation at the end, and the remaining 4 walls in study, which we're going to use to also contest aviator. If you're familiar with Pro League, you're already aware of that, but of course we don't really want to fight here. We want to skirmish a bit, we want to waste some time, and then we want to fall back without losing a player. Okay, that about wraps it up for the setup. If you're asking yourself whether you can also play this in ranked, I'd say that the answer is yes. I mean, even Pro League teams struggle with clearing closets, so your ranked opponents are going to struggle too. But maybe you want to skip out on playing the aviator extension, because executing that correctly is actually pretty difficult, I think. Moving back to competitive play though, what can you actually do against this setup? Of course you could just ban Wamai, but that's a bit of a cop-out answer, and interestingly, a version of this hold has been played all the way back before the 2020 Invitational, so apparently you don't even need Wamai to make this work. If we restrict ourselves to gameplay solutions, I think that the most important thing is to make it quick. If you give Wamai the time to generate a lot of magnets, you're in for a really bad time. But if you're doing it like Oxygen is doing it here, it doesn't actually look that difficult. If Wamai hadn't rotated into bathroom, he 100% would have died to that nade. Now, admittedly, DG had 2 of their ADS in master, but the same thing would have worked even if they had all of them stacked in closet. And of course, looking at this way of doing it, Thatcher would work really well here. But in the current meta, Thatcher is banned quite a lot, so you're pretty much forced to come up with strategies that don't involve Thatcher. And this is certainly one of them. On a related note, there's also something really interesting about how Dark Zero is playing this setup. As you can see here, they set it up as usual, but once they realize that the attackers are going straight for master, they actually ditch that hold and transform it into a default setup by reinforcing the third statue wall. Of course I can only speculate on why they are doing this, but it might be that they also found that it's too easy to deal with Wamai if he doesn't have the time to set up a lot of magnets. Based on my personal experience, I kind of doubt that though. I think there are quite a lot of teams that would fumble the execution even if they only had to worry about 3 magnets instead of 6. But Dark Zero is certainly doing it for a reason. Going back to another Oxygen round, there is one more problem that the attackers need to deal with after they get control of Master and Closet. The thing is, you need all 5 players around Master to get control, but at the same time, having 5 people around Master and then just trying to force your way into Astro is not exactly a viable strategy. You need to do something else alongside taking Master control. Now, I don't know exactly what that something else is, but I don't think that you can consistently win if you only apply pressure from Master and Bathroom. And I think that's a question that a lot of Pro League teams need to ask themselves, because at the moment, half the attacks fail at getting control of Closet, and after that, another half fails at converting the advantage. So I feel like there's quite a bit of room for innovations here, and not just on the attacking side. Something that the defenders should consider is using this C4, which you can also throw a bit further by throwing it while running. And I also think that there might be a viable way of playing this setup with Dog and Rook in Bathroom and Closet if Wamai happens to be banned. That way, instead of preventing the grenades, you just tank the grenades. And I feel like both of these are interesting options to explore. Alright, that's about it for the video. Like I said at the beginning, I'm a big fan of this setup, and I personally think that it's the superior way of defending statue and trophy. So I'm definitely looking forward to how this strat will develop in the future. If you want to learn more about this strategy, you should also check out this very interesting video by Pinrose, where he also talked about this closet hold. Link is in the description. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, I hope you learned something new, and thanks for watching.